Hola, happy Sunday. Welcome, welcome. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. And going to wait probably like 30 seconds before I start the message, just to give people time to come in. And if you cannot hear me, please let me know in the chat. And if you can hear me, feel free to say hi. I'll try to say hi back. Do 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 Dora, Dora 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 the Explorer. Swiper no swiping, swiper no swiping. Oh man. I'm sorry guys. I'm so awkward when I first start these lives because I'm technically talking to myself when I first start. So yeah, in order to avoid any more awkwardness, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the message. So today's message is don't allow your empathy to override your wisdom. And there's two things that inspired this message. As a matter of fact, I actually made a shorter version of this message. And after I posted the shorter version, I felt called to do a longer version. I felt called to go more in depth. And one of the reasons why, because of my own personal experience, which I'll get into a little later. But also, there was a video I came across, and it's this podcast where people call and ask for advice. So this woman calls in and she's like, yeah, one of my friends that I've texted and called, and she hasn't returned any of my calls and texts in 3 years, suddenly popped up and asked me to borrow $900. She said her friend, I don't know how long they were friends prior to her going ghost, but she said for the past 3 years, this woman has not returned any of her calls or texts. And now she suddenly appears asking to borrow $900. And the fact that this woman was even considering it and she was feeling bad, like, oh, if I say no, I'm going to feel bad because what if it was me in that position? What if I needed $900 and my friend wouldn't let me borrow it? This woman who has not returned any of her calls or texts in 3 years is suddenly asking her for almost $1,000 and she's really feeling bad about saying no. And that's because she is an empathetic person. And a lot of times when you're an empathetic person and somebody comes to you for help, you feel obligated to say yes. And not only did she not only was she contemplating letting this woman borrow $900, she also said that if she gave her this $900, it would cause her immense financial hardship. She technically has the 900, but if she gave this to this woman, if she let her borrow it, and especially if she didn't get it back, it would cause a lot of financial strain. And the fact that she was still contemplating doing it is insane. Even me being a very empathetic person, that's where I draw the line. I haven't heard from you in 3 years, and now you asking me to borrow $900. And the woman that was asking to borrow the money, she was like, "Oh, I'll pay you back. I have a contract coming up next month, and I'll pay you the 900 back then." How can you trust this woman to pay you back when she hasn't even returned your calls or texts in 3 years? And that's why I say you have to be careful not to let your empathy override your wisdom. And I've done that plenty of times. And that's why I said I'm going to share my own personal experience. Because there might be somebody out here right now that's watching this video right now that is feeling guilty or feeling bad for not helping a person and saying no to a person. Or you might even be trying to decide whether or not you should help this person. This video is going to be for you. Now, like I said, when you're an empathetic person and somebody comes to you with a problem, you want to help them because you can literally put yourself in their shoes. even if you're not in their shoes, even if you've never been in their shoes, because you're an empathetic person, you're able to you're able to empathize. Like I can't speak for everybody, but me personally, I'm such an empathetic person that I can literally feel what that person is feeling. Like I can literally put myself in their body and feel what they're feeling, or at least imagine how they're feeling. And that's a beautiful thing. Never stop being that way. If you're an empathetic person and you really care about people and you really take people into consideration, that's a beautiful thing. Never change that. But two things can be true. You can have empathy for a person, but you can also realize it's not your responsibility to save them. And like I said, I have my own personal experience with that. There's a very close family member who I've helped out a lot over the years. I would say since 2020, I've I've put thousands of dollars towards helping this person. Since for the last 6 years, I've probably spent I would say close to $4,000 helping this person in the past 6 years. And probably in the past 2 years, it's been almost $2,000 that I've took from my hard earned money, my savings to help this person. And guess what? They're not even in a better position than they once were. They're actually in a worse position. No matter how many times I've helped this person, and no matter how many times other people have helped this person too. Not only are they not in a better position, they're in an even worse position. And that's the thing. If helping somebody, and I'm gonna I don't really I'm not gonna say all the details surrounding it because, like I said, this is a close family member, and even though you guys don't know who it is, like I just want to be respectful and not share too much. But I do have to share some things just so you can hopefully learn from my mistakes. If you haven't already made these mistakes, learn from me. So here's the thing. If helping a person could put you in a compromising position, or if you've already helped them a lot and they're still in the same position, or they're in an even worse position, you got to learn to say no. If it's one of those two things, no matter how much empathy you have for that person, if helping them would put you in a compromising position, if it could possibly put you in a compromising position, you have to say no. If you've already helped this person numerous times and their situation, their circumstances have not gotten better, it's actually gotten worse. And it's due to their decisions, their choices. You got to learn to say no. And this is what I had to learn. So, back to this close family member. Like I said, I've spent thousands of dollars over the past 6 years helping this person. Like I said, at least 4,000. Mind you, I'm not rich yet. I'm not rich, but because I have so much empathy for this person and I love this person, like this is somebody close to me, it's hard for me to see them struggling or suffering, knowing that I could help them and not do anything. But here's the thing, I've helped them so much that is put me in a it's put me in a very negative position. Let's just say that. For example, and this was something very it was very stupid. I'ma just flat out say it. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It was a very stupid decision that I made because I allowed my empathy to override my wisdom. This person comes to me, because they know that I have really good credit, or at least I had really good credit. I'm gonna get into that a little later. Once I explain the story, you'll understand why I say I had good credit. But at the time when this person came to me, I had really good credit. It was in the low 800s, right? This person has very bad credit, terrible credit. They come to me to co-sign a car. And they're like, "Oh, if you could just co-sign the car, it would only be 6 months, and then I could refinance it, and I could take you off the loan. Like you wouldn't be a co-sign." Ah, I'm sorry, I need to drink of water because I'm losing my voice. Hold on. But back to what I was saying. They're like, "If you co-sign this car for me, I can refinance it in 6 months, and then I can take you off as the co-signer." And I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. And mind you, when this person called me asking me for this favor, they were distraught. They were crying, telling me, like, "Oh, the dealership said that they can't run my credit twice because they already ran it for the other car and blah, blah, blah," like all this different stuff. And even though I'm just like, I'm not trying to co-sign a car because I don't even have a car payment my damn self. So if I don't have a car payment, I don't believe in car payments. Why would I co-sign a car for somebody else? And somebody else that's irresponsible as fuck. And they have a track record of making a lot of poor decisions and just being irresponsible. But guess what? Even though that's what my wisdom told me, my empathy, my heart, me hearing this person cry, I felt bad and I said yes. And guess what? I wasn't just a co-signer for 6 months. I've been co-signed on this car for the past 3 years. And I deep down I knew better. My wisdom, my wisdom told me you can't trust this person. You cannot trust what this person says because a lot of times they'll say whatever they can to get whatever they want and whatever they need. But they don't hold their end of the bargain. They don't stay true to their word. They're not a person of their word. And even though my wisdom knew this, I let my empathy get the best of me. And here I am, 3 years later. My credit has taken a hit multiple times due to this person not paying the car on time. So my score went from the low 800s to now the low 600s. And I'm lucky that it's even still in the 600s. And every day, that's I don't really have a lot of regrets, but I'm gonna be real. That's one of my biggest regrets is co-signing this car for this person. And there was a point in time, like when this person, like, it's so much things that happened with that. Like even the car almost getting repossessed. I ended up paying $1,100 to keep it from getting repossessed. Mind you, I don't even drive this car. It's not my car. I literally just co-signed it. And I've done so many things to help this person, constantly forgiving them when they put me in a fucked up position, constantly helping them after that, only for them not to only not be in a better position, they're in an even worse position. And it makes me regret all the things I've done to help this person. Now, if I would have done all these things to help this person and it actually put them in a better position and they were like thriving and flourishing and independent and they got back on their feet, I wouldn't regret anything I did for the person. I wouldn't even be, "Oh, I spent thousands of dollars." I'm like, you know what? It was money well spent because look how much I helped this person to where now they're in a way better position. And like I said, this is somebody I love. So I would want that. Like that means more to me than any money. But the part that's frustrating, that makes me regret it, is the fact that they're not in a better position. And it's due to their poor choices. It's due to them being irresponsible. And this is a pattern that's been going on in their life for decades. And I've sat and watched it. And even so, even though deep down I knew better, I still let my empathy get the best of me. And now it's gotten to a point where I've had to tell this person no and not feel bad about it, no matter how much they try to guilt trip me. Because this person has tried to guilt trip me and, you know, pull the whole like, "Oh, if you believe in God, you should forgive, blah, blah, blah." And it's like, yeah, I can forgive you, but forgiving you don't mean I'm gonna keep being a fool. Being forgiveness doesn't equal being foolish. I can forgive you. That doesn't mean I have to keep helping you or I have to keep coming in and cleaning up your messes and saving the day. Absolutely not. Because guess what? You've put me in a compromising position in more ways than one. Like I said, my credit, my finances. And here's the thing, if everything fell apart for me, if everything fell apart for me, I don't have I don't really have anybody to fall back on. Well, I could probably fall back on my man, but aside from my man, I don't have anybody to fall back on. If I ended up getting in a fucked up position, can't nobody save me but me and God, of course. But when it comes to this, so that's the thing that you have to think about too. You're feeling so bad and guilty, like, oh, this person's suffering or struggling. I have to help them. And you're not realizing, guess what? If this person drained you of all your resources and you're not in a position to help them anymore because you can't even help yourself because they've drained you of all your resources, who's going to help you? Is that person going to help you? Hell no, they can't help you. Who's going to help you? If you go under, who's going to help you? So you have to stop feeling like you got to help everybody and save everybody. And that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the gift and the curse of being an empathetic person is you're constantly putting yourself in other people's shoes. But a lot of times you don't receive that same energy. You don't receive that same consideration. And that's why you have to learn. You can have empathy for somebody, but that doesn't mean you have to help them or you have to save them. Now, here's the thing, if you can help somebody without it hindering you, if you can help, like if you can give somebody $900 and be okay with not getting it back, even if they say, oh, I'm going to pay you back, even if they say they're going to pay you back, if you're able to just give them the 900 and not trip about them not paying you back and it is not going to hurt you, go ahead and do it. I don't There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying like, oh, be selfish and don't help anybody. No. But help people with wisdom. Use your wisdom. Use your discernment on who you should help and who you should let just figure things out on their own. When to help and when to step back. You have to use your discernment. You can't just go off your empathy. It has to be a mixture of empathy and wisdom. You have to use your head and your heart. And sometimes your head is going to tell you to do something different than your heart. And it's better to listen to what your head is telling you than what your heart is telling you. And the thing is, you can still have empathy for that person. Just because you say no or you don't help them, that doesn't mean you don't care. That doesn't mean you don't have empathy. It just means you have more empathy for yourself. And you know that helping this person would put you in a compromising position, or you've already helped this person so many times to where it's like, yo, I'm just enabling you. If I keep helping you, I'm only going to enable you because you're not changing. Your situation is not getting better because you're not changing and you're not getting better. And you have to have the wisdom to know when you should step in and when you need to fall back and just let God deal with that person. Let God help that person. Sometimes all you can do is just pray for a person. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do is give a genuine, sincere prayer about that person. Sometimes that's all you can do and that's all you should do. You're not God. You're a human just like them. You got your own damn problems. So don't feel bad when you say no to people, even if it's your family, even if it's your parents, even if it's your sibling, even if it's your child, if it's your adult child. It's different when they're kids and they need you and you like have to take care of them. But let's say you have an adult child who you've helped out so many times, but they keep being irresponsible. They keep making poor decisions. Just because that's your child doesn't mean you have to keep helping them and keep stepping in and cleaning up their messes and saving the day. Absolutely not. Yeah, you're my child, but you're not a child. And if I keep helping you, if I keep helping you when you keep making poor decisions, you're never going to learn. You're never going to grow up. And I feel like you're hurting your child more than helping them. You might think you're helping them because it's like, oh well, my child has this situation, so like, and you just keep stepping in, even though they keep bringing these poor, not poor choices. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Even though they keep bringing this shit on themselves, you keep stepping in and cleaning up their messes. You're hurting them more than you're helping them because, like I said, they're never going to grow up. They're never going to be independent. You're always going to be their enabler. So even when it comes to adult children, you have to draw the line somewhere. Like I said, it doesn't matter who it is. And if it's somebody who is constantly taking from you, and it reminds me of what I talked about at the start of the live. The woman who was feeling bad about not giving this friend $900 when she ain't even heard from this woman in 3 years. The fact that she was actually feeling bad about that. I don't remember what I was saying or where I was going with that. But I'm gonna just wrap it up. What I'm trying to say is putting your own well-being first doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise. What's not wise is constantly giving to people who constantly take and drain you of your resources. Because, like I said, if you go under, that person ain't gonna help you. That person's gonna be nowhere to be found. And guess what? I guarantee you, if that lady decided to let this friend borrow $900, not only is she never going to get that money back, but she's probably never going to hear from her again. And even if that woman really is in a dire situation, and she sounded like she was desperate, like she really needed the money. But guess what? Respectfully, that's not my problem. That's not my problem. Like, just because you're in need doesn't mean I'm the one that has to fulfill that need, especially if it's clear that our relationship is not equal. It's not an equal give and take. All you do is take, all I do is give. Absolutely not. No matter how much empathy you have for this person and no matter how much they may really need help. If if helping them is going to hinder you or put you in a compromising position, or if you've helped them so many times before and it hasn't made a difference, you got to learn to just say no and not feel bad about it. You got to learn to say no and not feel bad about it. If I was the lady who had a friend pop up out of nowhere asking me to borrow $900, guess what? I wouldn't have even responded to the friend. Because, first of all, she ain't a friend. She's not a friend. So let's start there. But number two, I'm not even going to respond. Just how you didn't respond to me for the past 3 years, I'm not responding to you. I'm not a fucking ATM. And I'm not going to just be a doormat and let people pop up when they need me and then disappear when they got what they needed. Absolutely not. No matter how empathetic I am, I also love myself and respect myself. And I'm wise enough to not let people walk all over me. Like, absolutely not. So yeah, I know I kind of went off on a tangent and then I had something important to say, but then I completely lost my train of thought. So I apologize. But yeah, hopefully this message blessed you in some way. I need some water. Hopefully this message blessed you in some way. If it did, make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.